Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and actually the close to the series of Ecclesiastes. We are going to be jumping into Ecclesiastes chapter 12 in just a second or two, but I just want to say a couple things. First of all, this was the first series that we have ever done on the channel. I have no idea how many more series we're going to do or the magnitude of what that could grow to. Maybe there will be many more and you can look out for those, and I'm not exactly sure. I definitely know that I might jump into a gospel or maybe Proverbs during the summer. I think I might want to do a series of things more about the world next, because I think that's sometimes a little bit more practical wisdom and knowledge that we can just take in from trying to live as a Christian every day, and some struggles. I think that could be really good. But I'm very happy that we did this series. Just to recap, the reason I wanted to do it was because Ecclesiastes is known as the vanity book, meaning life is meaningless, and I thought that it would be kind of fun to try and poke the bear a little bit, poke Ecclesiastes and see what we could learn and grow from it. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this series. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's a little bit crazy for me, at least, because, well, I also recorded Ecclesiastes in February and I took a break. So for you guys, you can just watch the whole series now fully through with no breaks. But for me, I've done this series over months, so it's been a long time. But I'm excited to close and see what God opens up in this next chapter. So just to prepare for Ecclesiastes chapter 12, a lot of it is about the end times, growing up and aging, and remembering God. So let's get into it. Remember your Creator in your youth. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars are darkened, and the clouds return after the rain, and the day when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look through the windows are dimmed, and the doors on the street are shut, when the sound of the grinding is low, and one rises at the sound of a bird, and all the daughters of song are brought low. So I'm going to pause after the first 4 verses. So this is honestly kind of a poetic description of aging. Now, I don't remember all of the symbolic things, but just to go over some of them, when it says when the keepers of the house tremble, it's kind of, I think that was describing how when you start to get older, your arms and your legs specifically start to kind of age, and it's just a little bit harder. You tremble a little bit. You know how old people kind of shake. And then that continues with the strong men are bent, kind of recognition that, when you get older, you start to kind of get a curved back. Those who look through the windows are dimmed, the windows being symbolism for your eyes. As you get older, your eyes and your vision starts to decrease. The doors on the street are shut. I'm not sure about that one. The sound of grinding is low. I think that one was for the teeth. As teeth grind. Sometimes people have problems with grinding at night, but that kind of comes to a stop as your mouth kind of is just, I guess, more relaxed, and you don't use it as much when you're older. And one rise at the sound of a bird. That's kind of talking about how for older people it's harder to sleep, and the smallest thing can wake them up. And all the daughters of song are brought low. That's kind of how I think music is not as enjoyable, less pleasure in life. But I think this is just interesting because, Solomon, or the preacher, whoever it is kind of just describing that you have to remember God, because, one day you are going to have those things, whether they're just as descriptive as they are, but we're going to grow old, right? Especially people under 25, you feel like you're unstoppable and that you can't die and you're going to be living forever, and you have I have 80 years ahead of me, I'm totally fine. But we have to remember God always, and there is no reason not to put him at the center of our lives, whatever age we are. And I think it's just kind of interesting the way that Solomon, using his wisdom, I guess. It's a little bit hard. I didn't really get this at first glance, but kind of seeing how he just described age, and it's something that we're all going to go through. And, whether you're realizing it now or you'll realize it in 5 years, but we are constantly growing and maturing. And I think that the coolest growth is the one in our spiritual journey, when we grow with God and we grow into people who are God-fearing and wise and doing amazing things for the kingdom. But let's continue along in verse 5. They are afraid also of what is high, and terrors are in the way. The almond trees blossoms. The grasshopper drags itself along, and desire fails, because man is going to his eternal home. And the mourners go about the streets, before the silver cord is snapped, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it all. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity. Again, more things about growing up and how one day all of us will return to the dust, made from the dust, and we will go back to the dust. Now, again, I don't want you guys to start to get sad, think that you're going to die soon. That's not at all what I'm trying to convey. It's just that we should remember God in all aspects of our life, all ages, all stages of our life, and always have him directly in our heart and in our minds. And it's just kind of, again, it's more of an aggressive way of kind of showing that you will die eventually and you will have judgment on your hands, right? We are going to be judged at the end of the days, which is scary. But, if we accept Jesus in our heart and we absolutely love him, which I think a lot of us do, but if you don't yet, that's totally fine. Jesus is waiting with his arms open for you. And yeah, one day it will be either living eternally with Jesus up in heaven and having a great time, or it's going to be separation from God and some really hardships for eternity, which I don't really want to find out at all. But let's continue with the last 4 verses to close. Fear God and keep his commandments. Besides being wise, the preacher also taught the people knowledge, weighing and setting and arranging many proverbs with great care. The preacher sought to find words of delight, and uprightly he wrote words of truth. I'm just going to pause right there to those 2 verses. Yes, that is a reference, I think, to the Proverbs chapter or book in the Bible, where, again, it seems to be Solomon who's writing Ecclesiastes. And Proverbs, if you don't know, is a 31 chapter book all about practical ways that you can improve kind of wisdom in your life. And it covers whole ranges of topics: growing closer to God, avoiding sin, what to do in sin. I mean, it's very different than Ecclesiastes, even though it's written by the same person, as Ecclesiastes is more melancholic almost, and kind of this chill, kind of more sad vibe. Rather, Proverbs is really like, hey, you should do this, keep the commandments of God, keep the commandments I give you, and really practical tips. So I would recommend reading it, especially if you want a series to go into. It's a little confusing and you might need some help, but I definitely recommend it. So let's continue along. Verse 11. The words of the wise are like goads, and like nails firmly fixed are the collected, saying, they are given by one shepherd. My son, be aware of anything beyond these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. The end of the matter all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. 14 to close. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. Again, one day the decision will be there. Are we going to join God in celebration in heaven, or are we going to turn away from him and he is going to say, depart from me, I never knew you, right? The decision is on our hands every day. You can choose to accept Christ in your life, and I think you will have a much, much better life when you're joined with the Son of God, God himself, who created you and loves you and sent his Son to die for you. Or you can keep living the earthly lifestyle that will, quote unquote, bring you fulfillment. But as we read in Ecclesiastes, vanity, chasing after the wind, chasing after things of the material earth that won't leave you satisfied. So it's up to you. And I think Ecclesiastes was a great book to show that we have a purpose in life, one that may be undiscovered and will take a lifetime to figure out what God has for us, but definitely knowing that we should be with God because God gives us purpose. If we were just striving after a world where there was no meaning and there was no creator, then we would truly be living meaninglessly. But because there is something behind this, and because the love of God is real and God is real, that our life is given meaning and it is not a vanity of vanities. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I hope that God is blessing you guys. I'm praying for you, and I'll see you in the next video.